Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Ruby.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi. Hey, Gwen. It's our 20th episode this time. This is the 20th one of these we've done.
Yeah, we fucking did it. We're a real podcast now.
Yeah, eventually it's going to stop feeling like, oh, we're a real podcast now every time there's like a zero at the end of the number, but I feel like we got a little last there. Like I don't know if 30 is going to feel as big. And 40's not going to feel as big, maybe, but still going to be like, oh shit, we made another 10 of these.
Yeah.
Maybe we can use 50 is going to be big, and then we can kind of like ease off it a little bit, right?
Yeah. Until we hit 100.
But yeah, I haven't been up to a ton that feels like particularly relevant to talk about in the podcast this week, right? I kind of fell down like a gacha game hole, thankfully, not like financially, just like sort of in terms of how my time was spent.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I got into like a closed beta for a game I was interested in, like 2 other games I sort of got story updates, so that just kind of wound up like eating up a lot of my free time this week that I would have spent like reading Berserk or doing anything else I usually talk about during this section of the podcast. So like no Berserk update really. Like the closest thing I've got to like reading comics is like Gray posted a lot of Grappler Baki panels to me over the past couple days, but that's not really the same thing.
Yeah, that's not really the same thing. I don't know that we could really talk about that.
No, I don't have like a developed like thesis of Grappler Baki right now, or even like a feeling on it, other than like those are some pretty funny panels out of context. Those guys got some shapes on them.
Yeah. I haven't really been up to much either. I've just been kind of busy like working on comic stuff and like streaming. So like, hey, you like comics? You like comics about fucking gay girls and like swords and stuff?
I do. Where can I find one of those?
Well,
you don't know yet, do you? You don't have like a URL or anything.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter. You'll find out.
Yeah. Like eventually it'll be there.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're like a fan of Gwen, there's like Twitch streams and stuff where you can learn even more about the comic, right?
Yeah. I talk about the comic a lot when I'm like working on comic stuff on Twitch, because mostly I stream like art. And so like, yeah. If you want to learn more about Abigail and the King of Demons, that's the name of the comic. Come fucking find me. I trust you. You're smart.
Yeah, like we're probably gonna plug it at the end of this episode, so like, you know, like the Twitch and the Twitter and everything, so like it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I gotcha.
Yeah, but like before we get to the end of the episode, we have to make the episode of our podcast.
Before we get to the end of the episode, we have to get to the episode. You just want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. Episode 60, Byakugan vs. Shadow Clone Technique. The tournament is about to begin and Sasuke still hasn't arrived. Everyone's worried about him, except Gaara, who remembers sneaking out to spy on Sasuke's training. The first match starts. It's Naruto and Neji. In the stands, Akamaru spots an incredibly suspicious guy in Anbu uniform. And Naruto reminds everyone of his vow to kick Neji's ass.
Okay, yeah. So like before the tournament starts proper, there's a succession of brief scenes of like people talking to the Hurikage who's watching it. First, there's the one like Jonin guy with a facial scar who like you asked me the name of like a couple weeks ago, and I looked it up and then forgot again by the time we're recording this episode. So like I still don't know who this guy is really, but like he doesn't matter to me. But he's talking to Hurikage about how like, yeah, we don't know where Sasuke is, like Orochimaru might just have him, and if that happens then like we're out of luck, which is like really, really not inspiring confidence in belief here. Like it's kind of got me feeling like when Orochimaru does his like big frontal attack in like a few weeks, he's kind of just blowing it. Like if he was just sneaking around more, he could have just torn this place apart and like they couldn't have done anything.
Right, like Kabuto could totally just like fucking Assassin's Creed like pick off everyone in the fucking Leaf Village one by one and just hide everyone in bushes. Like,
yeah, who's gonna fucking stop him? Nobody.
Fucking nobody. Like, what are they gonna do?
And also the guy who is definitely the Kazekage and not Orochimaru pretending to be the Kazekage comes up. He's like, oh wow, here is that. You look fucking great. You look young. You know, it's a good thing that you know we're having this tournament here in the Leaf Village, and you didn't have to take your old ass body across the desert. That would suck for you. By the way, do you have like a successor picked out, or like, you know, just in case anything happens? I'm just wondering for no reason.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Definitely not like gathering intel on anything. Just like, you know, worrying about your well-being.
Yeah, I mean, like it just if something happened, and like I'm not saying anything's gonna happen, but like it would be a shame if you died and there wasn't like somebody in place to like to step up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But but the Hokage brushes that off.
Yeah, he's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm gonna be Hokage for at least another 5 years. So it's fine. It's gonna work out. He's gonna put in place all those reforms we talked about. He's gonna fix everything in those next 5 years, and he's really gonna turn the Leaf Village around.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a cool place to be. I'm probably gonna like, I don't know, stick around.
Yeah,
maybe. Who knows?
Okay, I mean, like that seems kind of at cross purposes with what we're here for, like with the.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm only joking.
Okay, cool. I was worried you were getting a little bit disloyal.
No. Where would I get my estrogen? Come on.
Not fucking the Leaf Village, let me tell you.
Yeah.
See, all that chat is happening, and then back in the back down on the ground floor of the arena where all of the big Genin who've like come this far are. Genma like takes out like the new tournament bracket. He's like, hey, yeah, Dosu's not here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, nobody worry about it.
Do not be alarmed. He just didn't show up for normal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have to ask about how many corpses have been found in the Leaf Village over the last few days, it's 0. I guess last few weeks more than days, but Yeah.
If you have to ask about how many corpses have been found in the Leaf Village, don't worry about it. Also remember, I'm Gecko.
And like so we get like a brief bit of like wondering about where Dosu's out of the way, but like Shikamaru realizes like he doesn't have to fight Dosu, so like he's already done thinking about him. And people go on to worrying about the much bigger picture here, which is like, hey, where's Sasuke? And everybody's kind of worrying about this, and then Gaara just decides to like stand there grinning like a sicko. Like he knows, and he knows he didn't kill Sasuke, but like obviously thinks it would be pretty funny if everybody was like, oh shit, did Gaara kill Sasuke?
It is funny, by the way.
It is funny. Like it's like a funny prank to play. We also get like this little bit of a flashback to like Baki trying to well, like Baki just seeing Gaara heading out, and he's like, "Hey, where are you going?" And Gaara's like, "I need to verify my existence once more." And like Baki's like, he's got to know what that means, right? But he doesn't really.
Yeah, like what are you
gonna fucking do about it?
What are you gonna fucking do? Stop him?
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, I hope he doesn't kill anybody too important.
At this point, the like assassination attempts are just like fodder to keep Gaara fucking like.
Yeah, it's like, well shit, okay, this is gonna keep under control a little bit better.
Yeah,
this way he's only killing our weak guys.
You like mess up a mission one too many times in the sand, and they're just like.
Hey, don't worry. We got a great chance for you to make it up. Why don't you go kill this kid?
Why don't you go kill Gaara?
I'm sure you'll figure it out. Before the match between Naruto and Neji starts proper, we get like a cut back to the stands. We see a few things there. We see like because most of the people who are in the preliminaries room are now like, oh, Naruto's pretty cool. We need to like introduce more guys who like didn't see that and are like, I bet Naruto fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like Izumo and Kotetsu, they're like, yeah, this Naruto kid isn't shit. He's gonna get his ass kicked. It's gonna be pretty funny.
It's gonna be really funny to see that happen.
And another thing is, we get a moment where like he said in your summary, Akamaru like notices like a guy suspiciously standing around in Anbu, in like an Anbu uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And like the thing that kind of blows me away about this is that like later in our episodes there will be like a suspicious guy here in an Anbu uniform. But it's a different guy.
Yeah,
I think this is just a normal Anbu guy who like is just doing a real bad job of keeping it subtle.
Yeah, like we'll get to that when it happens, but like
I've got some questions about like the efficiency of the Anbu as a unit. Like the Anbu Black Ops is like one of those things that's like lodged in my brain for my years as like a teen at Naruto. I was like, oh, I bet these guys are super fucking awesome. And like rewatching Naruto now, it's like. Every time these guys show up, they just get fucking wrecked instantly, or they just like stand around as obviously as possible while trying to like covertly surveil a place.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I need to take my headphones off for a second. Okay, I'm good. Also announcing to everybody that this is a Tits Out podcast now.
Oh shit! A tits out podcast. It's a tits in podcast for me.
That's okay.
It's okay. One day I'll record a tits out podcast. It's like a bonus for the fans. Is any of this going in the episode?
Maybe just the part where you promised to do a Tits Out podcast for the fans.
Like with no context, I just feel like, hey. If you donate $20 or not, like $5 to the Patreon, you'll get a bonus episode of this show where I'm not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, that's going in too.
No.
Okay, but what were we saying?
We were talking about like the Anbu guys being like extremely obviously just sort of like standing around in the audience. I don't actually have like a ton more to say about like this half of the episode.
Okay. You want to just like carry on then?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The fight starts and Naruto rushes him and ends up taking a blow to the chest. He backs off after nearly getting a chakra point on his shoulder sealed and summons some shadow clones. The clones move in to surround Neji, but he takes them all down with no issue, and goes on to say more horseshit at Naruto. But Naruto's sick of it, and summons way more shadow clones.
Yeah, so like at the start of this half of the episode, we've kind of got like the tense, like, you know, face off between Naruto and Neji, and like neither of them are saying much, and like they're just kind of like wait and see who makes the first move. We like cut out to the audience where
and like the first thing that we get is Hiyashi, the head of the Hyuga clan and Hinata's father, talking about Neji, and he says that he says that Neji's Byakugan is stronger than Hinata, and then even goes on to like say like, oh, it's like maybe even stronger than yours to Hinata's little sister Hanabi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like there's a few things I want to touch on with this, right? And like the first is that like this is like the first scene where like repeatedly throughout these episodes we like cut over to Hiyashi, and I'm like definitely like paying close attention to these and kind of like puzzling out how I'm like meant to feel about them and how I feel about them, because I feel like there is a turn coming soon where we're expected to be like kind of okay with this guy, but he is still very much just like one of the worst guys in my book.
Oh yeah.
Like he definitely comes across as like kind of like maybe like a little bit resentful here of the fact that you know that like Neji's got like he's got like a super good Byakugan, like shit we fucked up somehow because he's got the good blood instead of our like main clan or whatever. There's a weird exchange in this bit. This is like original to the anime where Hanabi asks like, oh, is his Byakugan even stronger than my sister's? And like it feels weird, like given how Hiyashi has treated Hinata previously, that he would even let Hanabi think for a moment that like Hinata was worth anything.
Yeah,
it was a weird moment of distance to me. Like I just sort of assumed he would be like, hey, you know your older sister, she's dead to us. Don't think about her anymore. She isn't worth shit. It's very important that you understand this, because that's just kind of the vibe he gives in like the previous flashbacks with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, from there we cut back to the action, and everybody's like kind of watching with bated breath, like, okay, so you know we all know what Neji does. He hits your chakra points. He makes you unable to do jutsu. Let's see if Naruto knows how to like handle this. In the manga, he goes right for like trying to do stuff with shadow clones, but like in the anime, we definitely get like this weird bit of action where he like runs in without like seeming to like really like think or remember what Neji is capable of, and like tries to fight him for a bit. I think the action in this like episode is generally like staged fairly well and like is fairly readable, but like this little exchange here like is very frustrating to me in terms of like the overall presentation of the fight, because to me like a lot of this fight is like Naruto is like coming into this more capable than anybody expects him to be, except for like in this anime original moment where he is like charging in and like doing the exact thing he shouldn't be doing, because like I guess he like forgot what Neji is capable of, or like wanted to check if Neji could still do it or something. It's like a weird moment of like kind of deflating his own ability to like engage with the situation on like the terms of like, I don't know, like being prepared for this at all.
Yeah, right, because like when he gets hit, he like gets up with like a smile. It's basically just like, haha, I was testing you. Like, what does that mean? Like, what do you
mean? You know what this guy does? Like, you saw all this. No, it's like a, yeah. It is definitely a thing where every time something like this pops up, I'm like a little frustrated with the show to like kind of like that doesn't let Naruto just like be a little more capable looking, especially because like I don't know, like there's no reason for him not to know this, and the source material he does know this, and like this like I get this is kind of like buying time for like the adaptation a little bit, but it's also like a way that just sort of makes him look worse.
Yeah, it just makes him look kind of worse.
Yeah. But then from there we get to the actual stuff where we're exploring from the manga more directly, and he like summons the shadow clones. I think is fun about this fight is that like I didn't really like have this in my head going into it, but like you do get the sense of like, oh, Naruto's like thing that he does is actually like kind of like a fun counter to the way that like the Byakugan works, right? Like he's like actually like kind of well suited to like try and take this guy down with like the one thing he knows how to do, and like it's not like something that's telegraphed in the most obvious way. I think that's a fun turn.
Yeah,
and I also think that like while I am dinging this episode for like the way it makes Naruto look a little worse earlier, I think like in this like little bit of action where he's like rushing Neji with the shadow clones, like it does more to make it look. It does a little more than the manga framing does. To make it look like Naruto doesn't just have his main body like standing completely back the entire time, right? Like it is definitely like holding back and not being as involved. It's only going in when there's like a safe bet that Neji is distracted, but it's definitely it feels like a nice balance of like Naruto sort of like setting the expectation that his main body is hanging back while also like not just making it the most immediately obvious thing in the world. Which I think like leads into like the way this fight continues from here pretty well. And also again, I think the like I said earlier, the action in this episode is just generally pretty well staged and pretty readable.
Yeah, I like the action in this episode a lot, and I like seeing Naruto's clones like fighting Neji in a way that like definitely reads that like Naruto is getting better at that kind of thing too, right? Like,
yeah, and it is also just cool to see like a fight sequence where it's like, oh, hey, like there's like 4 clones and Naruto here, and like they're all like pretty consistently represented in space, so you like you just know what's going on. Like it is it is just very solid.
Yeah, I mean like even though Neji basically fucking no cells taking them all out without a sweat, it's like
Yeah, there's like another really great moment in this like where after he's like taking out most of the clothes, there's like one lying on the ground that he just like picks up by the scruff of his like of his collar and just like pops.
He just picks it up and pops it like a balloon. It's like really good.
It's very good. And he's like, okay, Naruto, I've seen your tricks. It's time for me to tell you how like everything you believe in is bullshit. Because this is Neji's thing that he loves to do. Mm-hmm. He starts talking about how you can't just become the Hokage by working hard. Only a very small percentage of ninjas ever have like a chance to be the Hokage. Like it's basically locked in from your birth, and so I feel like
he's right though, right?
I mean, like, the thing is he is right, and like not even necessarily for the immediate reason of like, oh, Naruto is like the 4th Hokage's son. Like if you look at the history of like who's been Hokage, it becomes like apparent that the committee that selects these things likes to keep things within like a clear lineage of like, hey, everybody who is Hokage was like pretty much exclusively like somebody who was trained by a previous Hokage, or like trained by somebody who's trained by a previous Hokage, and it is all just like in that lineage. And like even completely independently from Naruto being the 4th Hokage's son, it's like like the first 2 Hokages were brothers, and then like the second one trained the third, and the third trained the Sannin. Like one of the Sannin becomes the 5th Hokage, and like one of the Sannin is Jiraiya, who trains the 4th Hokage, and the 4th Hokage trains Kakashi, and then Kakashi trains Naruto. And you will notice that in this lineage, not just is every Hokage to date, but also everybody who will ever be Hokage in Naruto, like in the franchise, like in total, like to this point, like in modern day.
Yeah, also worth noting that Jiraiya also trained Naruto.
Yeah. So, like... like, there's definitely, like, a sense of, like, a very small percentage of people ever get this chance, but also, because of, like, the way that this is dictated, Naruto is one of, like, one of the only Genin in his entire generation who even has a chance, like, by the seeming, like, conditions by which Hokages are picked. Because, like... it is just people on Kakashi's team, and they're like probably not going to let Sasuke be Hokage.
Yeah.
Like even before everything he does later in Naruto, like they probably just don't want him in on that level.
Right, like even now, like, hey, once you get the curse mark, like, it's a little bit too risky, bud. Like, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's just curse marks makes it a little bit risky, and like there's some stuff with your family we probably don't want you to know. Like it's not gonna go good for us if you're like the president and find out about that. So like you're out, and like fictionally, I guess maybe Sakura has a chance, but like within the fiction. But like narratively, Sakura will never do anything. So like it is really just Naruto in this entire generation of ninjas who's like could even like potentially be under consideration. And like realistically, Naruto isn't really like a candidate they're thinking about. I something I was kind of thinking about with how like the third Hokage talks about how he like wants to go about 5 more years. Is I was wondering if they're already like kind of eyeing Kakashi for the position where it's like 5 years from now he'll be like a little more matured. And he won't be like in these kids' lives so directly anymore. So he can step up, and then the third Hokage can step down. And then we don't need any of Kakashi's kids to take over directly, but maybe one of the kids they train can handle it, and it'll just be like really neat. It'll just be a really clean line of succession. It'll be fine as long as the third Hokage can live for 5 more years.
Which he's going to.
Yeah, which he's going to.
God.
Yeah, so Neji is basically right that like they're kind of locked into that destiny. He's just exclusively wrong about the part where it's from birth because it's actually from when you get put on like a Genin team with a Jonin instructor. Like that's the point where it's locked in. There's also a moment of where like Hiyashi's watching this and he's like, Neji still really hates the main family, and it's like, yeah, bud, yeah, we'll get into that. Let's talk about next episode.
Yeah, all right. Episode 61, Ultimate Defense, Zero Blind Spot. We see Kabuto take the mask off of a dead Anbu. And as the fight continues, Neji's sure he figured out who the real Naruto is and rushes through the crowd of clones to get him. But Naruto had one of his clones stay back and play it safe on purpose. Neji's caught off guard and nearly takes a punch to the face. But Naruto's fist is stopped by an expulsion of chakra. Neji spins to throw the Narutos aside, and Tenten explains Neji's 8 trigram palm rotation. It's a spinning, exploding chakra force field Neji can do. Hinata's dad is impressed this kid figured this out on his own. Neji hits Naruto with the 64 palms, and it looks like the fight is over. Watching the fight has Hinata's injuries acting up, and Naruto stands, refusing to give up.
Okay, so before we get into anything you mentioned in the summary, the first thing I want to talk about in this episode is at the very start of it, we get a scene of Iruka just like working alone in like this big office with a bunch of like empty chairs in it. Like looking at the arena in the distance, and it's like so mean to this guy that they didn't give him the day off. He's like the one guy who didn't get the day off.
Well, no one believed Naruto would fucking win, so they didn't want fucking Iruka to have to see that shit.
Okay, it's for your own good. Just
stay put. We'll fucking tell you about it later.
Like you just be ready to buy ramen for him, cheer him up afterwards, like as long as he's still alive. And we'll,
as long as he's still alive, assuming Neji just doesn't fucking murk this child. Like,
I mean, you know how Neji is. You weren't there for the prelims, but I heard he got really ugly.
Hey, bud, cheer up. At least he's not going up against Gaara.
God. Hey, at least there'll probably be a body.
We can have an open casket.
Yeah, like the nice thing about the way Neji does things is it basically doesn't leave any external wounds. So like it'll be.
Yeah, we won't just be scraping blood paste into a jar.
God. We cut back to hearing after that, and again, I gotta say, I really like. I really like Naruto's trick here. Like, I think it's just like a great moment of like, hey, Naruto is a competent enough guy to like sort of know when he's being underestimated and like make that work for himself. It's it is just like a really satisfying moment where like Neji's like, yeah, I know what's up, and like the clones are like slowly poofing away, and like the one he hit is like coughing up blood, and then that one just poofs away, and Naruto's like, got you, motherfucker. It's good. I love it.
It's so good.
It's just like a really solid trick. And
I fucking love Naruto's tricks.
I love Naruto's tricks. I hope he does tricks forever. I like maybe he will keep doing tricks forever. And I just like I completely forgot about how it was like a tricks based fight comic the entire time. But like I don't want to get my hopes up too much.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely distinctly remember like a pivoting point where Naruto gets like a big like attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then what he does from then on out is do, like, the big attack.
Yeah, and like make up new versions of his big attack.
Yeah.
I like his big attack, all right, but you know.
Yeah, the big attack's fine, but it's like, you know, it's not tricks.
Yeah, no, I really like how scrappy he is here. Like when he doesn't have like the big thing to just like end it, and he just kind of has to fight there the whole way.
Yeah.
This is like a bit of a digression, but I just started thinking about like things Naruto knows how to do right now. And I'm wondering, do you think Neji knows how to hit the chakra points on like a big toad?
Well, he can just see the chakra points, so like maybe.
Right, but like also his like martial arts style is like about like like knowing how to like target like a human body while it's happening. Like maybe it's harder with the big toad.
Yeah, like it might just be harder with the big toad, and like if he summons a big toad, that's gonna like get everybody's attention, right? Like, everybody who knows jack about shit will look at that and go like, oh, he's met Jiraiya.
Oh, fuck, he met Jiraiya, goddamn. No, this is a Toad-free fight. I was just sort of like thinking about the Neji versus Toad matchup, like theoretically.
Again, can you fucking imagine if fucking Gamabunta showed up?
Oh my god. It's like, sorry Neji, it's just not going well for you. That's your limit. That guy's got a knife. That guy's got a knife that's bigger than your body. I don't know if you can spin your way out of that one. Yeah, just Naruto's like getting in his like good hits on Neji, or it looks like he's about to, and then Neji does he reveals his technique, his rotation, where he like spins around and like shoots chakra out of his body to like make like a perfect defense shield. And sends Naruto flying. And like Tenten, we cut to Tenten in the audience who was helpfully explaining all this for us. And there is a bit where she was like, yeah, in a way, his perfect defense is even stronger than Gaara. And then we cut to Gaara, who, like, despite having no way to have heard this, is just looking really pissed off. It's just like, I know somebody's talking shit about my sand shield.
Just fucking seething.
Like, don't worry, Gaara. Like, even if this is, like, stronger by some measure, and I don't know that I buy that it is, because, like, you know, you gotta be spinning to do this one, which makes it a little harder to pull off, like, for long periods of time. But also, it's just less cool, I gotta say. Like, it is just less cool than the Sad Shield.
It's just less cool. Like, you look a little bit goofy while you're doing it, just kind of like limp arms spinning around. And like, you know, you can't do it too much or you get dizzy.
Yeah, that's like a real... Like, it doesn't come up here, but like it seems like it would be a real problem in like a longer fight. Do you think that was like a lot of his training with Tenten, where he was just like, okay, Tenten, I need you to be blasting kunai at me for like 10 minutes straight. I need to like be able to keep going without falling over.
I think a lot of his training was like just spinning without doing the technique.
Yeah.
He would just be like spinning around in a circle for 10 minutes. What a fucking goofy dude.
What a goofy dude.
But then like fucking what's his face? Hayashi.
Yashi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it, holy fuck, it's so cool that kid figured that out on his own. That's supposed to be a secret technique that only I know.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's... I mean, like, in spite of, like, us kind of, like, ragging on the rotation a bit, like, it does definitely a thing that, like, Lens creates, like, oh shit, Neji's, like, a genius or whatever, and that he's just kind of, like, he's just kind of, like, inventing independently the, like, secret Hyuga bloodline techniques that he's, like... not supposed to know about. Like that's like a pretty cool thing to be able to do if like you're in Neji's position. Like I do gotta hand that to him.
Yeah. And I kind of love the extent to which Hiyashi is just like, God damn it, that's so cool.
Yeah. No, I also love that like even in the face of this, like even seeing that Neji is like capable of all this, like his thought isn't like, oh maybe this like system is wrong. It's like, damn, I guess it should have been my brother because my kids are shit.
Yeah, fuck off, dude.
The other thing I want to touch on is like a little note in like the Viz manga translation where like instead of referring to instead of saying Kekkei Genkai like they do in the anime translations, in the manga translation they refer to it as the divine shinobi blood of the Hyuga clan.
All right.
Which is very funny because of like lore reveals way later in Naruto that they could not have possibly known about.
Yeah, no, they just wanted to say some cool shit.
Yeah. Like, I guess that worked out.
They didn't know that ninjas came from space. I know ninjas don't literally come from, like, don't at me.
Don't at me. Like, it's fine. Like, sometimes it's just fun to say, like, the later lore reveals of Naruto, like, in a dramatic, fake way. Because, like, you know, you can make them sound kind of silly, and sometimes it's fun to make some jokes at the expense of something we both love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know...
Naruto gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm sorry. Yeah, Naruto gets the shit kicked out of him. Like, Neji does his whole, like, I'm gonna press all your points really fast all at once technique, which I guess is, like, probably another thing that he actually is like, shit. He's not supposed to know that.
Neji's the only guy who can press all the points. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, he's just really going above and beyond at this point. You know, Naruto's down on the ground, but it's okay because Naruto's going to stand back up. And I'm like, you know, I'm happy that after Naruto's really weak showing back in the preliminaries, we get, like, a moment of him getting back up that I think is really good. You know, I think it, I think it helps a lot that it harkens back, like, hey, here's like these previous characters that we really like, who like have gone through it and who are like in a bad state right now, who are like, you know, entrusting this to him, and like, you know, it is a cool moment. It is like a better moment than him like repeatedly standing back up while like Kiba just hits him, like with like a normal punch.
Naruto's a cool guy.
Naruto's a cool guy. Sorry, what were you saying about Naruto being a cool guy?
No, it's just that, like, every time Naruto gets back up, it's always just like...
Wait, no, not every time, but, like, when it works.
Wait. Okay, like, every time I remember him being cool, it's just like, fuck yeah, dude, that's, like, some impressive shit you're, like, standing up through.
Yeah, no, like, I think that, like, genuinely, one of, like, Naruto, the piece of media's greatest strengths is, like, I think it really successfully gets me rooting for, like, the main character, you know... Like, I'm invested in that kid doing well. I'm always rooting for him.
Yeah, and like it really sells the like stated like strength of Naruto, the guy being like so like full of stamina and like endurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, yeah, I knocked you on your ass. I pressed all your fucking chakra points. Like, show's over. And he just, like, stands up, and he's just like, no, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Do you have anything more you want to say about this half of the episode?
No, not really. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Naruto starts talking back to Neji as Hinata coughs up blood. A different suspicious Anbu than the one from earlier approaches and offers to help, saying he's a doctor. Back in the ring, Neji thinks Naruto is full of shit, and drops the Hyuga branch family curse mark lore, and explains how his father was killed to act as a body double for the head of the clan.
Alright, so I guess the first thing I want to talk about in this half of the episode is, you know, the different suspicious Anbu guy who shows up, who is, you know, definitely not Kabuto, who just killed the guy who took this Anbu mask a little bit ago, but also who, in the funniest screen cap of these episodes, just shows up and says directly, I'm not suspicious or anything. Like, direct quote from the subs. It's amazing.
This guy rules.
This always works for him. This is why he's such a good spy.
Kabuto can just do fucking anything he wants, as long as he just, like, walks out. It's like, don't worry, I'm not a spy.
Don't worry, this is normal for me to be doing.
I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, right, like, straight up, I think if Kabuto was just patient enough, if, like, everybody involved with, like, the, you know, our little plan here was patient enough, Kabuto could just solo the entire Hidden Leaf.
Yeah. Just give him time.
Just give him time. Let him work on it.
Yeah. Anyway, back in the arena, there's like a really great like Neji being a dickhead moment. Like, this is like such a perfect like encapsulation of the way in which he kind of sucks. Where he's like looking at Naruto, he's like, "Hey, I don't know why you're like so mad at me or anything. I don't have any real beef with you. And like, I don't get what your problem is. Like, you can just give up. It'll be okay, right?" Like, it's amazing. It's like such the like he just has never really like bothered to put together like why Naruto was so mad at him after he like almost killed Hinata. It's that, like in the past 3 weeks he's just put it out of his head and he's like, yeah, I don't why are you doing this again?
like he literally just doesn't even fucking like remember.
And I like that like I like that like the you know the way that like Naruto immediately grounds that is like being like rather than like talking about like how Neji is like saying that his dream is bullshit and like talking about him as a failure, he's like it just makes me really mad that you like fucking went up there and like said all that shit to Hinata. Like, you just kind of like stood in front of a room and like made fun of her for being traumatized, and I'm pissed off about that. It's like, hell yeah, you are, Naruto. That fucking sucked. Get his ass.
Yeah, fucking get his ass.
He's like, hey, I don't know what you're, like, Naruto's like, hey, I don't know what's going on with you, but like, you can't be doing that shit.
You can't be doing that shit, Neji. Oh my god.
But anyway, Neji's like, oh, you don't know what's up with me. Okay, I'll spell it out for you. And he takes off the like his headband to reveal the curse mark in the shape of an X on his forehead, or like, you know, in the shape of an X in the anime, where they have made the understandable call to change it to that from a manji in the manga, where in the manga every time it shows up you've just got like there are not a lot of like editor's notes in Naruto, but like every time the Hyuga curse mark shows up it's just like, hey, don't worry about it, it's a manji, okay? Alright?
Yeah, no, don't.
Like,
this isn't what you think it is, don't worry.
Don't worry. But, you know, probably for the best, especially in terms of, like, you know, this being a show that's being aired in a lot of places, to just kind of come up with, like, a different symbol for that in the adaptation. I can respect that decision.
What does the curse mark do exactly?
Okay, so like as is explained in this episode, like the main things that the curse mark does is like, I believe it like it when that member of the Hyuga clan dies, it like destroys their like nerves and shit, so that they like, you know, that they don't leave their Byakugan behind. And also it like is a means by which like a person in the main family can just be like, hey, I'm gonna like explode your brain if I don't like what you're doing. Like, if your vibes are wrong, I'm just gonna send you to the fucking pain zone, and you're just gonna live with that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it is, yeah. Because we see a scene where, like, Hisashi, who's Neji's dad, is watching, Hiyashi and Hinata train. And, like, Hiyashi's just like, hey, you're, like, a little too pissed at Hinata here. I'm just gonna, like, I'm just gonna, like, make one hand sign and, like, make you very, very... I'm just gonna make one hand sign and, like, make your life very bad immediately.
Yeah, like it's like a shot caller.
Yeah, it is kind of like a shot caller. It's like this is definitely a thing where it's like, you know, we see this and we see the extent to which this is just like, oh, this is like super dehumanizing, and like, well, like it is like a very directly like unchangeable thing that you're stuck with. It's like, okay, you know, I get why Neji gets here. Like, I think this is like a thing that does a lot to establish why this kid is like so fucked up. You know, he's not handling it well, but also he's like 13, and you know, there's no real handling it well. Realistically speaking, it seems pretty bad, right? Like there's like a scene where like Neji as a kid is like going to Hinata's like 3rd birthday party, and he's like, and like he's like, hey dad, why do you look so sad? They're not gonna and his dad is like just trying desperately not to be like, hey, they're gonna like brand you for life and make your life bad. Like he's not gonna say that, but like, you know, it's on his mind. It's like, damn, okay. Shit seems pretty rough.
Seems really rough.
The other component of the stuff that Neji explains is how the head ninja of the village hidden in the clouds came to visit the Leaf to like sign a peace treaty. But like actually he was there to like try and kidnap Hinata, and then like he was killed. And then because the head ninja was killed, the village hidden in the clouds was like, hey, you killed this guy. We want like the body of the head of the Hyuga clan, or else we go to war. And Neji's dad was killed for that, right? And so I was like curious for a moment about like what exactly is meant by head ninja, because like this isn't the Raikage, obviously, right?
No.
Both in the sense that like this is like a nameless Randa who doesn't look like any of the Raikage who are in Naruto, but also I was like, wait, what is a head ninja? And so I did some digging. Head ninja is allegedly a role that exists only in the village hidden in the clouds, and is like higher than Jonin but lower than Kage. And the only one we ever see is this guy, who is like a complete fucking nobody. Which like, you know, maybe that's a real position, but also like the complete lack of information makes it kind of seem like, hey, yeah, this is like a real important person we sent here. It's totally, head ninja is totally a real thing. It's very important to us here in the village in the clouds. And I can't believe you killed that guy. And we're going to need some really, really dramatic diplomatic concessions if we don't want to go to war. Like, we're all really bummed that this guy is dead. Totally believe us.
It sounds like they really, really, really wanted an excuse to go to war.
Yeah, like to go to war in order to like get some special eyes.
Yeah, or to get like a very important corpse.
Like I don't think I'm supposed to think that like head ninja is like a fake thing, but it definitely kind of seems like a fake thing.
Oh yeah. Also, can I say like, what is the Leafs like plan here? Like, do they just like hide the head of the Hyuga clan? Like whenever whenever there's like fucking ninjas around, like
I don't know. Maybe they paid to fake curse mark on his forehead.
It's so sad that you killed my older twin brother.
Oh, I hate that my older twin brother, the head of the Hyuga clan, is dead. I mourn him every day.
And then like Neji has to hang out with him. Oh my god.
They're just like extremely through clutch. It's like, hey dad, how are you? I hope your day is going well.
Neji like fighting back tears.
Yeah. It's really hard for Neji. He's got a bad life. I worry I'm being like super jokey. It's like, hey, it's rough for Neji. It's just Neji is also like I think is kind of funny to joke about. It's the real that's the real tension of this episode of like, I do want to give serious dramatic consideration to what Neji is going through, but also
it's like he's like a really funny shithead.
Yeah, he is a very funny shithead. Is the thing. Did you have anything more you want to say about this episode?
No, not really. You want to head on?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Episode 62, A Failure's True Power. Naruto takes another hit and Neji says the match is done. Naruto refuses, and Neji's composure breaks, saying Naruto has no idea what it's like to be burdened with a mark that you're stuck with. Naruto gets it though, and tells Neji he's not the only one with shit going on. In the stands, Hinata seems to be getting better, and Neji's had enough of Naruto. And since he's blocked all of Naruto's chakra points, he's confident the match is over. So to prove Neji wrong, Naruto gathers his strength and fills himself with Fox chakra, healing himself and unblocking all of his chakra points in the process.
We start this episode, and Neji is like still sort of like talking stuff out. He's going through his feelings a little bit. He's like, there's a moment in here that I think is like probably the most effective to me out of the various little Neji flashbacks we get, where he's just like hanging out with his dad, and his dad's like, hey, like, I'm sorry I was your dad instead of somebody else, which is like, I don't know, it's like, damn, it's like a fucking rough thing to be carrying, right? Like, it's, well, like the way that this like very like significant personal relationship for Neji was like colored by like all this other shit, and like, I don't know, like it is a genuinely very like sad thing to think about to me.
Yeah.
Right, like I think that like, yeah, like I think that like the sum of all of this does wind up leading to like a very clear picture of like why Neji thinks that his life is just sort of inescapably this way, and like why he's lashing out in the way that he is. Right, because he is just the teen who's like so in his problems and like so like wrapped up in like his like very specific personal experience that he hasn't really considered that there is like a reason stuff happens beyond just like, oh, this is inexorably the way the world is, right? Like he hasn't really pieced together the fact that like, oh, like everything bad in my life is because of like decisions people made, and there's a real sense like he's kind of been blocked from coming to that realization of like, oh, actually like it is because of people and not like the universe, because like, again, like they have placed this indelible curse on his like forehead that like can kill him if he like is too out of line, right?
Yeah,
like it is I just want to spell this out because I feel like we have maybe given the image of being kind of Neji haters. Like I don't think that's true, really.
Yeah, no. I think Neji's fine.
Yeah, he's not my favorite, but like I think his role in the story like works well, like dramatically.
Mm-hmm. And
I think he's like a very characterful obstacle for like Naruto in the Chunin exams here.
Yeah. Because of something that you're going to hear later in this podcast. It's funny that we're backpedaling on this now.
I mean, like, I'll probably like make fun of Neji again, like later, in this podcast run. So, like,
Yeah.
I bet I know that for a fact there's people out there who like Neji more than we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Neji having spelled this out kind of leads to him going like, yeah. And so you don't understand shit, Naruto. You don't know anything, which is like the perfect trigger for Naruto to just be like, actually, I got problems too, you asshole. Like, it's just bad for me too, you fucking idiot. Like he like we get like another moment. We get like this like Naruto's second moment of like, oh shit, this guy's kind of like me, except this time he's just like mad about it.
Yeah.
Which again is really good. Like I like that the way he's like expressing this like growing sense of like like empathy for other people is still like these very like messy, explosive ways. I like that he both gets very pissed, but also there is like I think there is like a change in how he like starts talking to Neji after this point, where like even though he's still very mad at him, he's like making these overtures to being like, well, maybe shit can be different. Maybe I can help you somehow. And it's like, I think it is definitely like a thing that like, I think it's like a thing that like carries out throughout the rest of this fight in like a way that is pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I like that Naruto uses this opportunity to stick up for Hinata again.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just like...
And it's like, yeah, shit was bad for her too for like a lot of the same reasons, but you're just like so wrapped up in your own shit that you're like... you just kind of decide you can take out whatever you're feeling on everybody else, and it's like, yeah, that's right, get him.
Yeah, fucking get him!
Get him, yeah!
Fucking get his ass, Naruto!
Get his ass, Naruto. Like, there's definitely an extent to which, like... I mean, this is like maybe kind of a weakness of this fight, and because there's an extent to which, like, Naruto's thing that is a problem for him is definitely has more potential to be an asset than Neji's, right? Naruto having the fox chakra is like significant in terms of this fight and like how it goes, because it represents, here is something that Neji thought was impossible happening in front of him, which is like a catalyst for him like rethinking some shit. And it's significant in that way, but it is also like it also is creating this tension where it's like, okay, like the thing that Naruto has carrying with him that is a problem for him can be good for him in a way that having like a curse that like makes another person able to explode your brain
cannot.
Yeah, and that is definitely one of the big I don't know, like that. That is definitely one of the big points of tension. Like I don't think this fight like resolves super cleanly, even if like. I buy what it's doing on the whole. It is like, it is a thing that's like a little bit harder to get past.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say the interaction before Naruto pulls in the fox chakra is so fucking funny to me. Because Naruto is just like, You think you fucking know everything with those stupid fucking eyes of yours, and it's just like, oh yeah, well if you think I'm wrong, fucking prove it, bitch.
Yeah. There's something like I think I forgot to talk about earlier, but like throughout this fight, like another way that Neji is being kind of a shithead that I love is that he'll just be like, yeah, my special eyes can see everything. I can see destiny. I can see fate. I can see the way that you suck. And it's like, no, you can't, man. You can just see chakra. You just feel like a fucking dick about it.
Yeah, and then right at the very end, he's just like, all right, if you think I'm wrong, then fucking show me that my eyes are wrong right now. Show me that you're not just a fucking loser who's already lost the match.
Yeah, and like again, like I think the setup for the moment where like, oh, Neji is in the point where he thinks he's like indelibly, unchangeably won, and like it just gets overturned. Is like it is like clean and fun, and it really hits when like Naruto's like fox chakra swells up, and like Neji sees like a big scary fox face when he's trying to look at Naruto's chakra network. And it's like, oh shit,
it's so good.
It's so good.
You ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Neji's freaking out a little, and Naruto rushes him. Neji keeps up for a while before Naruto decides to just charge. Neji, in a panic, uses rotation to avoid the blow, and the colliding chakra causes an explosion that leaves them both lying in a crater. Neji gets up first, and the match is almost called before Naruto springs out of the ground, landing a knockout uppercut on Neji as the Naruto in the crater poofs into smoke. Naruto is declared the winner.
Yeah, see, you say Neji is freaking out a little bit as the fight goes this direction, and I think the like clearest depiction of how Neji is freaking out a little bit is there's like a moment where like Naruto like launches onto the wall and is just like hanging there and like throws 3 shuriken at Neji. And Neji just goes like full blown rotation to like stop 3 shuriken. Like anybody can stop that shit with anything. Like that's how you know this guy's like a little scared right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we get like another moment where Naruto's like big fox chakra explosion kind of results in like, I don't know, the action's like a little bit weightless here.
Yeah.
I know eventually there are a handful of like extremely good looking episodes where Naruto's fox chakra is going crazy. But like for now, it's still like pretty. There's some good stuff with that back on like the bridge with Haku, but like we haven't like got a moment where like that was allowed to like fully like be a thing that like the show is like really showing off. And it is kind of a bummer like again here for like the second time in a row. Like when this happens for Naruto, it's like yeah, I mean, it doesn't look that good.
Mm-mm.
We just gotta be patient though.
We just gotta be a little bit patient. It's fine. Right, and I think the show is still a little bit like uncertain about what having the fox chakra like does for Naruto, right? Because like he just like he heals a little bit and then is like faster and stronger, right? And I think and I think later on, especially later on, like we get like a more of like a concrete like idea of like what kind of sicko mode the fox chakra is.
Yeah, right. Like and there's definitely an extent to which like, oh, he's like going faster and he's stronger is like, well, I mean, if you don't have like the team to really like depict like him going faster and being stronger, then like it's just kind of gonna be like sort of the same, except like maybe there's more blur effects applied, or maybe there's like a bit more of like an impact when he hits something and like there's like big explosion, right? Like it's
it's just not a very impressive showing.
And which is to say, like I know for a fact that there's like people working on the show who could like probably pull it off better, right? It's just
yeah, right. Like you know, it's
just like this isn't the priority, and that's just the reality of a show that runs for as long as Naruto does.
Mm-hmm.
Like like as the fight's going on, like Neji's just like, hey, you don't fucking get it. And like I like that Naruto just wants like, yeah, okay, maybe I don't get it, but like I'm still fucking bad. And like if it's so fucking bad for you, just fucking stop fighting. Like I'll fix it for you. Fuck it. Like I'll become Hokage. I'll make shit better for you if that's what you want, you asshole. I like that he's just like reaching in these like very broad ways for like something he can do for this person he's super pissed off at. And like it is it's not like really that helpful of a statement to be like, yeah, I'm gonna become the president. I'm gonna fix your problem. But it is also like, it is definitely tinged with the sense of like Naruto being like, as Neji was telling him all this shit, he was like, hey, this seems really fucked up. Why is this happening?
Yeah. Naruto's such a good kid.
He's a good kid. Yeah, and there's like Neji's big or like rotation exploding and they go flying and Naruto like bursts out of the ground. And like in my absolute least favorite image of the episode, we get like these close-ups on his like fucked up hands and like I have to like look away from my screen every time. It's like the most unpleasant image in the anime. This will not be linked in I'm not posting this on the Twitter. I just don't like it. I'm registering my displeasure. It makes me very squeamish.
Yeah, because it shows you that he fucking digged through the dirt with his fucking fingernails.
Yeah, like that's fucked up. I hate that you had to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to closet or something next time. It's scary.
It's scary. Everybody's super impressed with Naruto.
Everyone is super impressed with Naruto. Yeah, everybody's like, like Gecko's like, oh shit, maybe this kid, or I mean, not Gecko. Fuck. I wrote Gecko in my notes. I'm being tricked. I'm falling for the ruse. Genma is like, yeah, Naruto's like, wow, he's like so competent, and like the Hokage is like, oh, can he control the fox chakra? There is an extent to me that like kind of wants like or that thinks it would be interesting if like they leaned in a little bit on like this being something that was like very scary for the people watching. But like I also get that we're kind of going for like the more straightforward, like, okay, Naruto wins the fight and like that wins people over when they see him win the fight, right? And like that is just the register that this show is operating on.
It would be so fucking funny if they did lean into the like, oh, this is actually like a little bit scary to everyone in the audience, and like Naruto was like, all right, you're the winner, but then also had to be like fucking escorted out of the ring by like a couple of Anbu.
God. Like again, I think that would be like a cool tone to bring to this, but again, it's just not. It's not what the show is.
It's just not the vibes.
Yeah, and then like we get like another scene where like Naruto's like he goes over to talk to Neji, and he says some things that are like variably effective to me. Because he starts out talking to Neji about like, things aren't unchangeable because, you know, I failed graduating from Ninja Academy 3 times because I couldn't do clone jutsu. And now look at how good I am at Shadow Clone Jutsu. And, like, I kind of have to wonder, like, I mean, those are kind of different, right? Like, can Naruto do normal clones, like, even now? I don't know if we ever see him do normal clones.
Well, why would he? He can do shadow clones.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But it's like, you know, I guess I don't know how like, good of an example that is. But, like, he has another thing that he says that I like a lot more, where he goes up to Neji, he's like, hey, you know, you shouldn't be talking about how you can't change any of this, because, you know, you're not a failure. Like, I like that. I don't know, like, there's a real sense of respect in spite of everything, where he's like, hey, you know, you can do shit, and, like, I don't know, I want you to be trying harder than this, and I want you to be, like, being better than this. And it's like, yeah, it's sweet. It's like, I like that Naruto comes out of this with this, like, you know, real regard for, like, what Neji's going through, and, like, he doesn't have the most elegant things to say, but, like, he's got a...
His heart's in the right fucking place.
Do you have anything else you want to say about this one?
No, I think that's the podcast.
I think that's the podcast. All right.
All right. What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching episodes 63, 64, and 65.
Nice. If you want to support the show, you can check out our Patreon. That's patreon.com/KonohaCrush. For just $3 a month, you get access to episodes up to a week early. $5 a month, you get access to some bonus content that we'll be sharing some news about here pretty soon. That's exciting. And for $20 a month, we have a Joining tier where you get your name shout out at the end of the podcast, right? And we have some this month.
That's right.
Yeah, so hey, special thanks to our Joining tier patrons, Maple and Izzy, the sole surviving member of the clan of people who think Neji doesn't suck.
Sorry, Izzy.
Sorry, Izzy.
Well, hey, thanks for listening and thanks for giving us money. It means a lot.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the dollars. If you want to see any of the images we talked about on the show, you can check out our Twitter at Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. If you want more of, like, you know, my stuff, you can check out my Twitch. I stream on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/ReziArt. ReziArt. Twitter, Rezi Arts. That's just the same thing with an S on the end. It's linked in the Konoha Crush Twitter. You can find it. I believe in you. And I think that's it, unless Ruby has something she wants to plug.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. We'll get there. Hey, thanks for watching. And remember, there's no such thing as filler.